Hey everybody, we're live.
Hello.
Welcome to Dave and Brian Live for August 22nd. So,
Wait, what year is it?
whatever year you want it to be. It's 28.
28? The year is 28?
It must be, because Halloween Horror Nights 28 is this year.
That's right.
But before I start, I just wanted to remind everyone that I only need 96 more subscribers on my Variety Paws channel to finally get monetization. Now, of course, that's the minimum because yesterday it was 95. So like any other channel, I lose subscribers for whatever reason. So if you have not checked out that channel, please do so and subscribe. So today we're going to be talking about Aventura. We recently stayed there, as you saw, and had a little bit of time to think about it, and also a lot of Halloween Horror Nights. Oh, hey
Matt and Elliot.
And there's a lot of
CJ.
something like that. There's a lot of announcements that were just made. There was a live stream yesterday, although it wasn't really live, that they revealed a lot of things. So let's get into it. Again, final thoughts about Aventura. It's a much nicer and actually a higher end hotel than I thought. I thought it'd be a little more like Cabana Bay or something like that. The rooms are a lot nicer than I thought. I thought the bed sheets were a little bit rough, but not too bad. But the pillow and like the bed otherwise was really nice. I think we were both surprised by the food.
Yeah.
It was a little pricey, but the quality was really good, really high, and the overall experience. It's a much higher end hotel than I thought it was. I was expecting Cabana Bay, and it was more Sapphire Falls or even Royal Pacific.
But kind of like Cabana Bay is when you want the food, you can go down to the first floor, go to the urban pantry, and they have all sorts of selections, and you get what you want, and you pay for it there.
Well, it's different because at Cabana Bay, you can pick different food from different places and then pay for all at once.
Yeah.
The urban
Pantry.
It's individual. It's more like a regular food court where you have to pay for everything in that specific spot. So, not a big deal. It's just a difference.
Yeah.
I was thinking it'd be pick what you want and pay for it all in the same spot. More like Fast Food Boulevard or something like that.
Yeah.
And the hotel seemed like it was completely finished, unlike Sapphire Falls. I'm glad you like my latest videos. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
And
hi, Duchess.
Oh, hey, Duchess. Are we saying that correct? Is it Duchess or is it Duchess? If we're saying it wrong, sorry.
Duchess is in the royal position.
Okay, just want to make sure. We're ignorant Americans. We'd probably say that. So, but it seemed like it was finished. Someone's like, "Oh, was floor 9 already open?" To our knowledge, all of the floors and all the rooms are open, but of course we know that for sure. But the parts that were open were finished. We found a couple of issues that were minor, like we turned on. I was showing the refrigerator, and the refrigerator was not plugged in, but like little things like that, they've already fixed.
Yeah. We had an issue trying to. They offer free internet, and then they offer premium internet for if you want it,
which is pretty cool because a lot of hotels, at least in the past, it was the lobby hotel. The lobby internet was free, and then if you wanted to,
I kind of got it.
Yeah. Okay. If you wish. But if you wanted to have Wi-Fi in the room, you had to pay for it. Now, what I didn't like was, and I kind of expected it. Stella, calm down. What I didn't like was that there was no wired internet in the room, which I figured it's a little bit of two different things. One is people would look at it like, oh, I thought this hotel was supposed to be modern. What's this landline thing? The other thing is that most people probably use wireless, and it costs extra to build in the extra infrastructure. We were hoping to do a live stream, but with only 2 of us, it was impossible.
Yeah.
We figured it wasn't going to happen, but we were going to try. Really, we needed another person just to set up, and so it didn't happen. But wired internet is still usually faster and more reliable, and it's just a lot easier. You plug it in and you're on.
Yeah. So we said we want the premium internet, but we had issues trying to find it, and we went down to the desk. They said, okay, well, call our IT support, and we got it figured out. But they had to like trace the device to the room and say, okay, yeah.
And then like, well, when you first get to the portal and you put your room number and all that stuff in, they said, well, don't. All it wanted was an email address and like agree to the terms and things like that. So like, oh, didn't you see where it said premium internet? I was like, well, I was thinking that's where it would be, but no, I didn't. Yeah. And they must have done something on their end.
I think they updated,
because when we reconnect, because I did try to reconnect, because before we tried, I tried once before, and that option wasn't there. So once we reconnected, so by the time you stay there, like these opening day things are not going to be a big deal. Yeah. And if you're just browsing the internet, the free Wi-Fi would probably suffice as well. Thankfully, we ended up not paying for the premium internet because of so many problems, and because we ran out of time, we didn't need it anyway, so that kind of worked. Cool. I see you said you have your Halloween Horror Nights tickets. Did you get the multi-day or just one day?
I think that's the guy who's going to stay here for 2 weeks. So
oh, cool.
I think he probably got the freaking fear.
And Orlando Parks Rover, good. That's awesome. Congratulations on the interview.
Yeah, congrats. Are you going to be a house attendant or are you going to be a scare actor?
I would think a house attendant. I think scare actors is too late.
Yeah, that's probably
There's always next year.
Yeah.
It's probably easier to get to be a house attendant than a scare actor the first time. Mm-hmm.
Congrats. The job is pretty easy, especially if you like horror nights. Get on
it depends on where you are. Especially, I love to be in the house, but like I said, it's up to your lead where they want to put you. I loved the house because I was able to. I mean, I was doing my job and watching the guests, but I was able to watch the guest flow, but also watch the scares and watch the scare actors. And you think I would have thought, after so many nights of horror nights, that after a while you'd get tired of watching the same scare over and over again. But it's still as exciting the last night as it was the first night, and then watching guests react to it is just awesome as well. Yeah. But primarily, we're there to make sure that these guys are safe, and also that you guys are safe, and not doing things you're not supposed to, and moving the line along, but not being rude. So it's an easy job, but there's a lot you have to do, and there's a lot of balance.
Yeah. So if you like being in the house, the leads will start to notice that if you say, put me in the house. Yeah. Or if someone says, I don't want to be in the house, and you say, I'll go in the house, the leads will notice that. And you can't choose which house you're going to be an attendant at. So like if you really want to be at this house, well, you might end up with a good spot. I was a house attendant for Ghost Town back in 2016, so I loved that house. I thought it was an awesome house.
And I was a house attendant for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I thought was a really awesome house to be in. The scares, especially the one at the end with the woman running out of the window. Yeah, I watched that hundreds of times, and every single time I enjoyed it because of the scare actors. They really bring it. In fact, Michael Aleo said that the scare actors are the hardest working people in Halloween Horror Nights. And I don't know about that. I mean, the creative team works 365 days a year on it, but I think he means like physically working. But I mean, talk to the people who build the sets, and they do a lot of work too. But the point is that without the scare actors, it wouldn't be as, it would be pretty scenery, but it wouldn't be interesting because like Vamp 55 was a really alright scare zone, but once the scare actors did what they do, it became pretty awesome.
Yeah. Just dress nice, Orlando Parks Rover. Just dress nice. Answer the questions as best you can. Just be as professional as you can. I mean, both of us got the job without too much hassle, so you could, if you make it, you could end up being in my house. Who knows?
Yeah. Welcome to my house. So back to Aventura. The sodas. I know somebody mentioned that in the comment. The different types. Now, of course, you have your the regular freestyle with all those options, but there's a lot of higher end boutique sodas. Like I would go to Burger and like, oh cool, there's a lot of beverages over here, and I thought it was one of those things where, like, you know, it's there's different stations and they all have the same thing. Like, okay, we went over to Roast and like, oh, there's a whole bunch of other options.
Yeah.
And they're like, between that, there's a whole bunch of other options. Then we went to Pizza, and there's other brands and variety of soda as well. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and it encourages you to actually like look around and see what's going on, because you could look at the drink selection and be like, okay, it's going to be exactly what's over here, and it's not.
Yeah. So I ended up getting something at Pizza, but then buying the drink at Burger, mostly because I wanted for both of us to get food in two different locations, just to show some variety, and then I went to Burger later for the fish sandwich, and then went to Roast for breakfast, just to show you everybody the different varieties of food. So I already talked about the. Oh, also something else that I didn't expect in a. Forget if it's I think it's like a premium budget. I'm sorry, I forgot the exact wording, but it's their second level pricing. It's not the premium, but it's not like the value, which the Endless Summer will be. The fact that you get table service, that you get a pager. Usually the pagers are used in restaurants to say, "Oh, your table's now ready."
Yeah.
But sometimes they'll bring the food out, and that's what they do. Even at a budget-minded hotel, they'll we always forget to take those things up. So, sorry, Stella is chomping away at a bone, and she always does this once we're streaming. But there's a little pager device that you put on the table, and they bring the food to you. And if you saw near the end of the video, for the opening day video, I like barbecue sauce with fries, and I think you do as well.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any barbecue sauce, so I asked when they delivered the food, "Hey, do you have some barbecue sauce?" And they said, "Oh, I'll look," and they came back with a little bit of that. So that was pretty cool as well. So, really good service as well.
I try to. I don't like ketchup, and I don't like mayonnaise. I don't like mustard. So I try something other than those things. So barbecue or.
I used to use ketchup in a lot of things, but I kind of phased out ketchup, and I don't use it at all. Uniquely universal. Thanks. I'm glad you liked the vlog. It was a lot of work. I got there at like 10 a.m. And I was still working on it until about 2:30 in the morning. It was like, we have to get up because we were going to stream at like 9:30 in the morning, but then we thought, well, 9:30 in the morning on a Friday, anybody in the United States is most likely to be working, and are not going to be able to join the live stream. And anyone in the UK, of course, is going to be the wrong time for you guys too. So like, who's going to be watching?
Yeah.
So and at that, like, I was kind of pushing it on a checkout time. So the Waterlog 2 pool hopping video, just put that up today. Kind of have a lot of videos in a short amount of space, but because it's kind of connected to Aventura, I didn't want to wait too much longer to post it.
Yeah.
Now what I ended up having to do is yesterday I went back to World Pacific because I realized I forgot about the fact that there is a hot tub that's indoors as part of the gym.
Oh, okay.
I completely forgot about that. But
I didn't even know about that.
But when my sister stayed at the Royal Pacific, there of course there was a thunderstorm because it was July, and we ended up swimming, going into that because it was indoors, and then I realized, oh, wait a minute, if we can't be in a pool, that's when there's lightning outside. The hot tub was on the first floor as well. If lightning could go through the ground, just because you're indoors, you're not that much safer. So, like, yeah, let's get out. But because I found that, I was like, oh yeah, I should show that too, because the first time we missed a few, and we couldn't show Aventura because that hadn't even broken ground yet. So, updated look, a good tour. Duchess Royal Pacific is really nice. I really like Aventura and also Sapphire Falls, but you don't get Express with that. But as far as the premium, I don't know. It's kind of tough between Royals Pacific and Hard Rock, just because Hard Rock is incredibly close. There's a road between Hard Rock and the park. I mean, that's how close it is.
Yeah.
And I think Hard Rock is slightly more expensive, though. But we always say, if you're going to be getting Express for multiple people, the room is almost free.
Yeah.
So.
And welcome, Phenomenal Brandy. It's good to see you again.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Stella, come here. This is Stella, everyone. Hi. Oh, well, it was Stella. Didn't really fit in the shot. So that is the water lot. Oh, that's gross. And then tomorrow we're going to Legoland because it's
your birthday.
Yep. So we're going to be staying tomorrow at 12 a.m. I'm going to have a video posted. It's scheduled from my previous trip to Legoland because I realized. Because I shoot so much stuff at Legoland that I realized that I didn't actually post it all yet. So it's another look at the Miniland, more extensive look, because there's so much to see there. So, you see so that's going to be posted, and we're going to, obviously in Legoland, we're going to be showing you the 2 hotels, and also a place, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Bach Tower Gardens is close by. We're going to be going there the next day, and then I'm going to get home and try to catch up on all that editing and stuff. So
we have a few questions. Duchess asked if we've ever done the luau. I haven't.
Not yet. It's a bit pricey. I mean, probably a good price for what you get and what you do. I just haven't done that yet. But it sounds pretty cool. Yeah. We were thinking about possibly doing the character breakfast. We just still haven't yet. That's, I think, around $35. They might have raised it. That's now at the Royal Pacific. Mm-hmm. It was outdoors at the Sapphire Falls because Emerald's restaurant at Royal Pacific closed. They started using that space because it's indoors, and I guess people are like, go outside.
Speaking of character breakfast, the character dining experience is actually also a fun thing to do as well.
Especially we went in a good year when it had Chance.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Oh yeah.
It's still pretty cool, but when the characters don't interact as much and don't talk as much as she does, we only did it once, so I don't know how well that works.
I will say at least seeing them is really cool. They go around to every table, so they make sure everybody is seen. And they have some funny reactions. The year we went, Michael Myers was he was one of the characters running around, and he doesn't talk. but somebody at another table said, "Oh, it's Jason," and I went, "That's not Jason," and right away. He kicked a chair, raised his knife, and just like went right over to them, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. And Duchess, thank you, and happy birthday. So this is a shirt that is a little experiment that I'm trying to figure out how I can't really sell it directly because they don't offer this. This is it's supposed to look like a pool inside of a pool.
Yeah.
And what I did was took some fabric dye, as you can see, and just made blotches and try to leave some space in between and make it look like underwater. So I'm not sure if I might try to do some sort of giveaway or an incentive, some contest or something, because I'd have to order. The shirt would have to be ordered in whatever size you need, and then I'd have to have it shipped to me, so then I could do the fabric dye and then send it to whoever. The thing about contests is I have to be very, very careful because of U.S. laws and international laws and sanctions and stuff like that. So I might have to limit it to only a few countries, which would probably be the U.S. and UK, because I can't really be 100% sure and research for every country. Like some countries we have sanctions, and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
So, but if you're interested in this shirt, this is a prototype. That it's going to get a little better. I tried to make some dark blotches on it to make it look more like water. So,
I think it came out great.
But it's one of those things that, like, once you start, like an artistic project, once you start doing it, it's like, oh, this doesn't look like much, but you keep going, like, oh, this actually works. So, something kind of cool I wanted to make for you guys is a incentive, or still working on the details. So do we have any more?
Fenella Brandy hopes that the Demagoran is there for the character dining, and
yeah, that'd be interesting.
Duchess says that the shirt is cool and it reminds her of when she used to wear tie-dyes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking the tie-dye would be kind of the way to go, except a traditional tie-dye wouldn't work. So, like I said, I had to have a little squeeze bottle that I used to make the different blotches. The hard part is that I thinned out the dye a lot, so it's very runny, and it's hard to keep the sort of white spaces in between. I actually dyed the shirt the first time with aqua color, and I basically stuck it in the water, pulled it right back out, so it'd be a really light color.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it closely enough, the light color between the ridges and the waves isn't quite white. It just looks like it. So, when Photoshop and like, what color is this? Oh, okay.
So, then I guess she was wearing her Nirvana shirt.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, all right. First off, Uniquely Universal asked if you are on Instagram.
I don't have Instagram. Sorry.
Okay. And then Matt needs advice. It says on his HHN tickets, it must be exchanged for a pass at the ticket window. That's going to be in the parks, CJ. Yeah. Whenever you get to the park, you can go to the hotel first, and whenever you decide, okay, let's go to the park, you go to what is it? The not guest services, but the.
Well, you can go to guest services. You can go to the kiosks. There should be somebody there at the kiosk helping you, or if the lines aren't too crazy, you can go to guest services as well. Mm-hmm. You should be able to go to guest services either in Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios. Even though Halloween Horror Nights is only at Universal Studios, they should be equipped to be able to do any of those. Oh, wow. Stella just got stuck on the basically the power strip. And if she had stepped on the button that's right there, we would have gone away.
Yeah. But we didn't. We're here.
Wow.
All right, so yeah, it was a Nirvana shirt. Duchess was a big Nirvana fan, just like us.
Us too. When I saw they did that the first water log when we went to all the hotels, I was like, okay, this is like the perfect blend. Cause
Yeah.
I actually swam towards the camera at one point. I'm like, oh yeah. When I started watching Tim's channel, I was like, how does he come up with all these short ideas? And then when I started my channel, I was like, they just started coming.
Yeah.
So.
Dutch has asked, have I started rehearsals this Sunday?
Sunday on
the 26th will be my costume fitting. So
very fitting.
Yeah. And my first rehearsal, get this, is going to be the second anniversary
Stella.
of me being hired for Universal. So my first Horror Nights rehearsal will be on the actual anniversary of when I was hired.
Cool. And I was hired on the 24th of August, which, as I mentioned, is the day after my birthday, which is pretty cool. Which is why I can remember it easily. Pretty simple.
So, well, really, we were hired on different days. Our day one orientation was, okay, now you're here, so this is your start date.
And we have another question for you.
I could say where I am, but even I don't officially know. I see on my schedule it
Probably
says...
shouldn't say the location.
Okay, I mean, all right.
But he knows what structure he's in.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Even on the schedule, it just says like very vague things, so I know where I'm going, but I don't even know.
It says somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. It says somewhere, and I'm
doing a thing.
Yeah, my character name isn't even a character name. It just says I'm something.
Oh, well, I hope, Matt, you enjoy Halloween Horror Nights. Looks like a pretty cool one to go to. It's first time with 10 houses, which is pretty amazing. I didn't think they would do that. Unfortunately, only one show, so I do recommend Bill and Ted.
I do recommend you check out the show.
Yeah, that's it's been pretty cool with where they've had it, but now it's going to be in the Fear Factor stage, so to be able to do a lot of other things, even though we're upset that Bill and Ted isn't there instead. So, also today is our first stream with AT&T Fiber, so hopefully it looks a lot better. I've had a lot of upload issues from my soon-to-be previous internet service provider, and Brian and I watched a test earlier, a speed test, and just
everything was really cranked up.
It was over 370 megabits per second up.
Yeah.
Usually you're lucky to get 10 or 12, but because it's fiber, it's both ways. I know that we've had issues before with the stream just suddenly cutting out.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the...
Stop. Calm down. Stop.
Part of
Please.
No, internet.
Stop.
So just want to mention really quickly that the free parking, if you live in Florida, free parking for Legoland has been extended to Labor Day. So
cool.
So let's do some Halloween Horror Nights stuff. But first, let's take a look over here.
All right. Unique Universal asked, do you take Stella out with it being so hot? The dogs seem pretty used to it. I know my
dog... They don't
dog...
go on like really long walks.
Yeah. I had to... stop, please. Hello? No. Calm down, please. Calm down.
All day long they can play and they don't.
Yeah, the one time we need them to be quiet is when they don't want to be quiet.
Down.
Alright, so there's one time I had to give my dog a bath, and then I decided, alright, well, I'll take her for a walk, and we'll stay out for a little bit so she can dry out in the sun. And she got kind of hot.
Yeah.
I wasn't out there that long, but as long as you're pretty quick with it, any time is really a good time.
Yeah. And yes, the rooftop bar is pretty awesome. So, sorry.
And okay. All right, so yeah, the phenomenal asked. She's staying at Sapphire, and are there any tips? And the rooftop bar. If it's gonna be like the way we did when we were guests at the hotel, like you may get to see the hotel a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. Hopefully, you can get to the pool because the pool is really nice, especially. Well, you can see in the waterlog as well. And my recently re-uploaded review, what they did with Sapphire Falls, which is very interesting, is because the pool is so big, it's the largest on-site hotel pool because it's so long. You'd have to walk all the way around. So there's a very, very, very shallow strip in between where you can walk across.
Which I really like that section.
That was a pretty cool thing. Of course, you can take the water taxi as long as there's not a thunderstorm. There is a bus, but it's a multi-stop bus. So if you have to, because if the lightning was within 5 miles of the property, the buses will be the only way to go, or you can walk, which is a little bit further for Sapphire, but it's not that bad.
Duchess said when she comes to the house, she's going to want to know where I am and do a signal. We'll probably do you think we'll do another one of these?
Probably. I mean, it's a good amount of time away.
I kind of suspect where I am, but like I really don't know. So I'll update you guys about, okay, I'm in this house and I'm in this part of the house.
Oh, you're welcome about answering about Stella.
Oh, yeah. And then Duchess wants to yell, Brian, just like she did last time.
Yeah. And if you watch our review of, or the opening day video for Sapphire Falls, you'll see Stella's in there. And my dog I used to have, Lucky, was there. That was very near the end. But probably it depends on what day you're going. If you're going opening day, we're not going to have much time to really go and figure out everything. But we're going to be as soon as possible on the Roddy Paws channel, the one that hopefully you will subscribe to if you haven't. We will be doing our annual Halloween Horror Nights review. So that is number 8, I think. 8 years now. So
opening night of Horror Nights this year, we will be guests. I won't be in the house that night. I have a night off already.
So
I don't know if you'll be able to recognize me, Duchess. I have no idea what my costume even is. Yeah. I find out Sunday what my costume is. So we have Mark Joe, who's from Scotland. Hi, Mark.
Hey. The water taxi.
It depends.
Yeah. If you're staying at the Hard Rock, I'd say never take the water taxi, especially if you're going to Universal Studios, because you'll walk at least as far from the water taxi to the front of the park as you do from the hotel. As far as other farther away hotels, the furthest away is Portofino in one direction and Sapphire in the other direction. And if you don't catch the boat right away, or even if it's coming in and loading, depending on how fast you are, it can be about the same speed as walking.
The water taxi is fun though.
Yeah.
I did say. For everybody who wants to see me, I am in cast A. So that is the first cast and not the closing cast, or it shouldn't be the closing cast. Okay. Brandy had another. All right, so first, if you do stay in Scream, and I'm one of the stay in Scream houses, you'll probably definitely see me if you go right in right away. Other than that, it's like, if it's been 45 minutes, then I might not be there. It might be the other cast, and then we rotate every 45 minutes. So
it gets harder to. The good thing about Cast A is, for the first about 45 minutes that he's there. So, yeah. Once we know, again, we're going to be doing the review, and I'm sure we'll be doing another stream. Once we know everything and it gets closer to the date where you can reveal that stuff, we'll be on somewhere.
And it's a little tricky to time it, especially if you're just a regular guest.
Yeah.
But Oh, Brandy also asked if she's doing Unmasking the Horror.
Okay,
And
cool.
I do believe once you do Unmasking the Horror, I think the park is still in operation, so it hasn't been officially Horror Nights at that point.
When we did it, it was during the day.
Yeah. So
And it has to be, otherwise, because I have to clear out the house of everyone and then get the techs in to go and test everything. It's kind of early in the morning, late morning. It's several hours before the event begins, because then the day guests have to be cleared out and everything.
So I do believe, Brandy, if you do Unmasking the Horror, you can just go right to Stay and Scream. It should be about 4 o'clock, something like that. And
but if you're staying, I forget, that's one of the. If you're staying on site, if you have time, you might want to go back to the hotel. And something. Like
she'll
that.
be at Sapphire.
Oh, okay. So, depending on which one you go to, because there are 2 times, I believe. If you go to the earlier one, you might want to go back to the hotel and change or get something to eat or whatever. But yeah.
And Brandy's not coming until October 18th, so you should see me, Brandy.
Yeah.
Especially if you come in at the right time.
Right, that's what I was saying. But by then we'll have our reviews up and things like that. So the grounds are really nice. The path is really nice as well. I usually like to walk, even from the farther away hotels, unless you catch the water taxi just perfectly, you end up walking a little bit faster anyway. And I like to walk.
Uniquely Universal asked, is it more expensive to Stay and Scream? I don't think it's an extra cost.
No.
It's actually a little bit smarter.
I mean, obviously you have to have a ticket.
Yes.
For the daytime.
And then you get the wristband.
Right. So as long as you have a ticket to get in that day and a ticket for Halloween Horror Nights that night, there's no charge other than that. You just have to go to a certain area when they're getting ready to do the sweep, and you just stay and then scream.
Okay, so there's a good thing to Stay and Scream, and there's a slight disadvantage to it. Okay, so being that you're in the Stay and Scream holding zone, you guys are released first, and depending on where you are, you go right into one of the busy houses. So, like, you could get into Stranger Things before it hits 90 minutes, which will be right away. The bad part about it is if they do any sort of like ceremony or show, which will be at the front gates, you guys miss that.
They'll probably do something.
Yeah. Last year they definitely did something.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. But you guys missed that. You're like way over in the holding area, and you can maybe see it if you're in the Shrek holding area. You can maybe see it from the distance, but that's about it.
So hopefully you're going more than one evening. So
yeah.
Then the first time you can go to those early access houses and then do wait at the gates.
Yeah, yeah.
And Uniquely Universal, you're welcome. So we're doing there's going to be another Blumhouse this year, and a combo meal.
Yeah.
It's going to be
The Purge.
Again.
I like The Purge.
It's just one of those things, like, one of the things I like about Halloween Horror Nights is that it's usually something different, but then they keep repeating stuff. And Happy Death Day.
Mm-hmm. Which I actually missed that. I kind of wanted to see it in the theater, but I ended up missing it.
So that's going to be in the same location that Blumhouse was last year, which is right around Men in Black, which is that third tent they've had recently. And what we don't know yet is what the split's going to be. Because last year it was 3 houses, but 3 different properties, but the first 2 were pretty quick. So hopefully this will be more 50-50.
Yeah.
We won't know yet.
I'm kind of banking that they might do like a 70-40. I mean 70-30. I know it's very exciting. Because the Purge is their bigger property. I know they're pushing Happy Death Day, but they might do a 70-30 kind of deal or a 60-40. Who knows?
I was a little bit surprised, mostly because I don't watch a show, that they didn't bring American Horror Story back again. I thought they were going to do a 5-year let's run it into the ground.
Well, I think they did learn the lesson from 5 years of Walking Dead that everyone was kind of burnt out on Walking Dead by year 4.
Even though people still come and say, well, where's the Walking Dead?
Do they really?
Yeah. Oh, part of it is because they have one in California.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But during Horror Nights, people always ask, where is it? And like, we don't. I gotta fix this.
We don't have it this year.
That. We don't have that anymore. Ooh.
But no, a lot of the regulars, especially if you went 5 years in a row, got pretty burnt out on Walking Dead. Yeah.
There's a little bit more room for a repeat this year because there are 10 houses, but still, you keep it fresh.
Yeah.
The only thing that's a bummer is they're not bringing back Bill and Ted, which is, not what I mean by like you don't repeat things, because the show itself is always different. And of course, every year they had Walking Dead. It was different.
Yeah.
Different seasons.
But I did notice, like, they've brought back Halloween a few times, but they break it up. Yeah. So it's not like year after year there's a Halloween. And they brought back The Purge several times, but they've broken it up.
Yeah. So, Phenomenal Brandy was saying that she was hoping to see an IT house. We've said this before. I just don't think that networking and Ethernet cables and protocols, and I just don't think that's very scary. Now, I guess if you were installing a network yourself and you didn't know what you're doing, it'd be kind of scary.
Well, doing customer service for IT can be very frightening.
Yeah.
So,
maybe.
My computer's not on. Did you plug it in, sir? Oh, okay.
Why they got rid of Bill and Ted, there's no one answer, really. I thought it was going to be when they have when Bill and Ted 3, which has been talked about for many years, once it finally actually happens, it's going to be a big boost for Bill and Ted, and it's going to be great, and it potentially was the reason why they didn't return, but there's several reasons out there, and we're not really sure the exact answer. But whatever the answer is, we are very upset about that, and so are some of the people in creative. So I'm not sure who made the decision or why. I was hoping or wishing that Keanu and what's his first? Keanu and Winters, the other guy. That they would record an intro for the show as Bill and Ted. I didn't think they really would.
Alex Winter. Yeah, Alex Winter.
That would be really cool. Would be really cool, but it would never happen. Is last year they had some people dressed as Bill and Ted, as cosplay Bill and Ted, and like they're not the real Bill and Ted. If Alex and Keanu came for the last show and posed as not the real Bill and Ted, but that would never actually happen. But oh man, people would lose their minds.
Yeah,
that would just.
And
you're not the real Bill and Ted.
Are you sure? Funnel Brandon said like an IT house packed with cables and blaring modem dial noises. Yeah, or if you have to fix something and you just get buried in the cables.
Yeah, and like some people who are sitting next to the terminal dead because they couldn't figure out an issue, and they just died waiting.
Yeah,
or possibly someone who turned psycho because they drank too much coffee and Red Bull and went around like killing people.
Yeah,
because they just couldn't. They got driven nuts by dealing with customers who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but seriously, like I'm sure they went for an in-house, but I don't know the entire process. But when they deal with actual movie properties, they have to talk to the director and the people who hold the rights and everything, and they have to work out this and that and this and that, and
even when they start building a house, it might not happen.
They have to like work on certain things, and they want this, and then they want that, and like for example, like when they did An American Werewolf in London for Horror Nights 25, John Landis had to have final approval say. And they said, yeah, sure. And he came and he saw and he's like, yep, okay, cool. And so that worked out. But like what ended up being, was it for 25?
I think it might have been. Yeah, it was, because Jack's house was compromised because of it.
Yeah. They were going to have Scream, but MTV wanted it to be based on the show. Universal wanted to be based on the first movie, and they couldn't find an agreement, so it became The Purge.
Yeah. And because of that, Jack's house was going to be larger, but they ran out of budget because they had to use the extra money to redo the house, which is weird because Halloween Horror Nights brings so much money in, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not in accounting.
By Uniquely Universal, thank you for joining us, and have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. As always, you can watch the rest of it later on demand. So, update for Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Is going to be on South Street. Now, they are going to be using the projection mapping from the recently opened cinematic celebration show. So
I think I know what they're going to do.
Going to be interesting. They mentioned something about having a tent that lifts up.
Yeah, I think. So that's part of the movie. Is the clowns are actually aliens, and they come down and they set up a circus tent, and then when they fly off, that's the way it happens. The tent just like kind of flies up into the air. So I think that's going to happen every now and then. They're going to have a projection of the tent, and then every now and again it's going to take off into the air.
Because they said in the recent in the recent stream that they said they want to make sure that we don't think that's going to be an actual physical tent because it'll go up once and then it'll be it.
Really?
If they had a physical tent there, it would.
Oh, then yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then that would be a great opening day thing. But,
yeah, sure.
And then that's it. Plus, there's safety issues. So.
Yeah.
And so that's something that that is made public, so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Also, Cary, Ohio, is the birthplace of Laura Sauls, who is the current manager of creative development. I know in the past we've said that we weren't sure if that person was a current team member or past. She does still work in Universal. But
she, the way I heard it, she started as a scare actor way back. She was, if I remember right, she was the bride of Frankenstein's monster.
Oh yeah, she mentioned that.
So that was that had to be maybe back in Rip from the Silver Screen, or even earlier. So way back. So one of the longtime team members who's now one of the big people in charge, and it's one of the little Easter eggs. I've always liked seeing Cary Ohio come back,
and it's back again this year for
Twisted Tradition.
Twisted Tradition in the Central Park area.
And I love the rotted pumpkins in there.
Yeah, that's neat. And they just recently, I think I have this in my notes, but they just recently set up a stage. I have to get out there later today and shoot some video. The stage that has been Academy of Villains in the past, or Jack's show or something. It's for Rock the Universe. It's not Halloween Horror Nights related. But also, for a moment, we're going to do a spoiler alert. It is public, so we're not revealing anything that Universal hasn't released. But if you haven't watched the video, the house for Stranger Things, because it takes place outdoors a lot, is going to have a creative use of mirrors to make it look like there are more trees and you're out in the giant forest and not walking around in a soundstage. So
I wonder if
I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool, and I wonder if they learned from The Shining last year that they had the Hall of Mirrors.
I don't know. They've been using mirrors for a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
There's another house where I think I forget which one it was, but they do a lot of times where you look down and you see that you're way above whatever it is. I think it was the Nightingales. They did that.
No, that was
But really what you're doing is you're looking up. They have a mirror that points up to the ceiling, and they have a scene upside down. Oh, upside down. And it looks like you're walking across a giant void, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It was, I believe it was Winter's Night that did that.
Maybe. And the final house revealed yesterday is Scary Tales, which was most recently a scare zone. And it's going to be Scary Tales Deadly Ever After.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 3 different Scary Tales in 3 different sections.
Cool.
And one of them is Humpty Dumpty, which is
nice.
Very interesting.
I'm looking forward to that. I've always liked their take on Scary Tales.
And quick spoiler, so cover your ears. Humpty Dumpty was on the wall, fell, splattered all over the place, and there's going to be dripping egg yolk everywhere.
Oh, nice.
It also hit some coals and was cooked, and then exploded again. So it's going to be a mess. Oh, yeah, the Unmasking the Horror Tours is a really cool thing because the people who run the tours, they have to go through a long, lengthy process to apply. It's very much like the RIP tours. I know somebody who works in my department that works RIP, and this guy has been with Universal for a really long time, knows it really well, and even one year he didn't get it because he didn't pass the test. So the people who do the Unmasking the Horror Tour aren't just like, hey, you want to do it? All right.
No, it's a lot of memorizing, like a lot of facts, and doing Unmasking the Horrors, because RIP, it's more of let's see all the houses, and you'll get some like information about the house and but when you're doing Unmasking the Horror, it's like okay, like here's this and here's that.
They're super knowledgeable about everything, and there are Easter eggs in the house that you cannot see. Unless you do, because it's a lights on tour.
Yeah.
That works better in some places than others. Like when I was working the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house in the tent, when the house lights are on, there were some parts of the house that still weren't very well lit because this is the way that the house lights are working. Because we had a really strong thunderstorm and we were shut down for like an hour and a half, and that was unfortunate. We felt badly for the guests, but we got to walk around the house and look at everything and talk to the scare actors, so it was pretty awesome. Because people don't get to do that very often, so that's another benefit of working at Universal. I mean, it was a certain circumstances that had to happen, but I don't seem to get to talk to the scare actors as much as I would like to, but so. Also, Scary Tales and Carnival Graveyard are going to be in Soundstage 24. That's something that I actually knew about for a little while, but it wasn't public, so I couldn't say. I didn't know about Scary Tales, but I knew Carnival Graveyard because I've seen it from behind, and looks cool. That's all I can say. It looks like it's going to be a really awesome house. Yeah, the tour guides are great. You used to be able to take pictures of any houses, and I think there's a lot more restricted now.
Yeah.
But even if you don't, like I said, the information you get, the time, the work, the detail that goes into the houses is unfortunately not underappreciated because there's so many people going through. So that the Masking the Horror Tour, you get to take a more leisurely pace through. You won't see any scare actors because they're not on the clock yet, but which is good because it's a little bit different. You're not going in there to be scared. You're going in there to
look at things,
to learn more about it and appreciate all the work, the crazy amounts of work that go into the houses, and they're only up for a few months.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I don't remember if I have my notes. Probably do. There were 2 more days announced yesterday for Halloween Horror Nights. So
oh wow!
it is now I do have them in my notes. So it is now the longest run of Halloween Horror Nights ever again.
Wow.
So I believe it's the 19th and the I'll get to my notes. So, but they added 2 more Wednesdays in September that were not. So it is now 36 nights, and for us it's 37.
37
because yeah, I think so. Because we also have team member preview.
Yeah.
So cool. I believe they actually made Mardi Gras a few nights shorter next year for some reason.
It's weird.
But so the clowns in Springfield, I'm not sure if those are returning. They've been a staple lately.
Yeah.
But, what we've been told is the official map doesn't have it on there. They might.
I don't think
not.
they're ever on the map.
Yeah, I don't remember if they are either.
It's always kind of like a little surprise because it's never on the map, and then when you're going through Springfield, all of a sudden there's clowns with chainsaws, and yeah, it's a surprise.
It's always a great zone too.
Yeah. So I don't think they're ever on the map, and the roaming chainsaw hordes are never on the map.
It could be that they didn't want to overdo it with the clowns and they wanted to focus on killer clowns, but we'll find out when the event starts.
Yeah.
And in the actual physical paper map. I wish they would put a PDF version of the map on the website. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah.
But it would be very nice. So it is now official. Fast and Furious will be open during Halloween Horror Nights 28.
Cool.
Which is the reason why there is not a scare zone in the San Francisco area. If you watch my updates, I saw early on that they didn't put up any lights. And I know that Tim had mentioned it was because Fast and Furious will be open. What isn't open for the first time in recent memory is The Simpsons. Will not be open. They open Fast and Furious instead. But standard otherwise, I believe Despicable Me, The Mummy Returns, or Revenge of the Mummy, and Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, maybe another one I'm forgetting. There's a few of them. But I think it's the same ones as last year, except instead of Simpsons, we have Fast and Furious.
So Matt said that his ticket is going to be for 28 days of the event. That's normal, Matt. It's if you get like Ultimate Frequent Fear, it's Express. I think it's Unlimited Express and every day of the event. So you could go every day, but so you kind of have like think of it as like a pass holder. So there's blackout dates.
Yeah, that's most of them though.
Yeah. So like, but you'll see everything. Trust me, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the note. It is the 19th of September and the 26th of September that have been added. So those are the extra days. Usually we don't have Wednesdays that early in the run, but the very first Wednesday after opening will be Halloween Horror Nights night, and then the following Wednesdays will be a Halloween Horror Nights nights, if the nights could nights. Wait. So, also, they pretty much confirmed, I think they said, the Seeds of Extinction, they've said that it was going to be in the parade building, but we have more than one parade building now. I was hoping it would be the other half of the parade building we usually use, but they did say it was going to be the new parade building, which unfortunately for you guys is going to be a little bit more of a walk. Not that much, but that is... And it's loaded with Easter eggs. What this guy will like is there's, I think, a food stand or something called or there's a drink. Like in the United States, we have 7-Eleven and probably everywhere else.
Yeah.
And one of the drinks is a Big Gulp, which is one of the size of the cup. And they're going to be selling something called the Lightning Gulp.
As in Lightning Gulch from Horror Nights 26.
And they mentioned 1 or 2 Easter eggs, but there's going to be a lot. Universal's really good with Easter eggs, so that's just one of them.
All right, so we have an interesting question here. So we've got a younger guy named Andrew. First off, hi Andrew, welcome. Yeah. He asked, do you believe if high school graduates single and never going to college will get success in online business? You know what? There's no guarantee, dude. There really isn't. It depends on what you've got, who you are, and if things go right for you. I mean, there's high school dropouts who, like they're millionaires now, but that's not true for every single high school dropout. If you've got good ideas and you know what you're doing and you've got good people working for you, yeah, you can make it. It's not a guarantee though, dude. But try it, man. Try it. Give it a shot. If something doesn't go right, just try again, man. That's the best you can do. And I hope I gave you some motivation. I sure tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, just keep on trying, man. Some of the biggest successes, they came from failure. Steve Jobs didn't exactly start out as Steve Jobs as we know. Neither did Bill Gates. So it really is just a matter of trying and just, not giving up.
The VIP RIP tour, it's a lot, but it depends. The pricing is not a set price. It varies.
Yeah, it's at least $1,000.
Yeah, it's pretty steep.
But the good news is, all right, so you're in a group, you get a guided tour, you do not go through any of the lines.
Not even express.
Not even express. You get like a special express where you cut straight through to the house entrance, and there's somebody with a pad, and there's, okay, hi guys, how many? And they put in the number, and they scan the guide's ID, and in you go.
The RIP tour guides have some sort of lit wand that they carry around. That's multiple reasons. One is to keep the group together, but we've both worked as an attendant, and when you have the tablet, you're constantly watching out for those groups. Mm-hmm. And when you see them coming, you stop the line, both regular and express, and check to see how many people are in, scan the guide's ticket, and
bam!
Literally, you're right at the entrance, and you're the next group in.
Yeah. So you see every single house and the show, and you get I believe it's like the front row for the show,
and a lanyard and
yeah. So look, it is a good deal, but it is expensive.
But yeah, I know in the past for Bill and Ted there was a special section.
Yeah.
For RIP, but okay. And for some reason it's got something on. So. Also, just want to quick plug since I'm wearing the shirt. I do have an official OrlanDave spread shirt or gift shop, so please check that out. I have other designs I want to make, but I haven't really been selling a whole lot. This one is a more recent one. The play button I had to make all wavy, and because it's the YouTube play button. I'm ooh. But it's a parody. So
yeah,
but they don't understand that. Now there's a possibility that I might be going to Spring Tea, but right now they have a way that you can put. YouTube has a way that you put merchandise directly on the view page for Teespring merchandise, which would be really great because then I don't have to remind you of the gift shop. The problem is that you have to be over 10,000 subscribers, and I'm not quite there. So I'm suspecting that YouTube is testing it out, and they'll at least they're looking into making it so that it can be for lower subscriber channels. They might keep it at 10,000. I'm not sure, but that'd be nice.
Mark Joe is leaving. Have a good night, Mark. And he says he loves the T-shirt.
Oh, thank you.
And then we've got Amelius Orlando. She says, hi, guys. Gonna be your first time at HHN. Where should we start? Cool. And say hi to Lucio. Cheers from Scotland. And keep up the great vids. I recommend Amelius Start with Stranger Things. That is going to be the busiest house. I'm predicting 90 minutes or up. Probably more like 2 hours.
And definitely go with Stay and Scream if you can. Mm-hmm. Basically, if you have a daytime ticket, and you're in the park already, you go to a holding area and you're released as soon as the event starts, so you're not starting from the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we used the traffic flow in the past, at least, used to be like when you walk through the gate, you kind of just keep walking forward and there's houses, and then people kind of tend to go around and end up on the other side. Mm-hmm. So we used to go in the gate and straight down what's called Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because it's a replica of Hollywood, California, and go to those houses first. But that's if you're not doing Stay and Scream. I'm guessing that you probably don't have an annual pass, because there's also an annual pass weekend the first few weeks where you have early access to a certain number of houses. I think it's an hour early, or it's significant. You have just a good amount. I'm pretty sure it's an hour for those houses before even the Stay and Scream let out. So, but if you don't have the annual pass, but you do have daytime, definitely go with the Stay and Scream. They usually have a pretty good idea of what the most popular houses will be, and those are the ones that are. There's several different holding areas, and those are the ones that usually let out. This guy last year was one of the Stay and Scream houses, which is pretty cool, because when I went into work a little bit later, I was able to get in line, go through, and great party, and go to work, which is again advantage of him being cast A. Yeah.
So that's all good advice, and what I recommend is start with the busiest houses. I'm thinking it's always weird what ends up being busiest, but I think it's going to be Stranger Things, Trick or Treat, and Poltergeist are going to be the busiest houses.
It's harder to say for the original houses, because last year the Scarecrow house was a really, really cool house, but then again, there have been original houses that are amazing that weren't popular, but Scarecrow was one of the most popular houses of the year.
Yeah.
So, really can't guess what's... Carnival Graveyard looks really cool, but I don't know how popular it's going to be. Well, I guess we'll try to give an update once the event starts. We'll, especially because we'll be there on opening day for guests.
Yeah.
We're also probably, at least I'm going to be going as a guest on, I think I'm going to be there for team member preview, so we'll also get a decent idea then.
All right, so how many shows are played in one night at HHN? I think, well, there's only one show, but I think it's going to have like 7 performances, something like that.
It depends on the night. There are 2 different, and there's 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. Different nights, and that's going to change. The shows tend to not go very late. I believe traditionally, Kind of Be Villains didn't run as late as Bill and Ted, but now that there's only one show, it might, because Bill and Ted let out after. Actually, I believe after the park was closed.
Yeah,
bit after.
The last show started at like 1:20 or like 1:30 and let out at like 2:15, something like that.
So it's hard to say, and this is the first time that we know of that there's only one show, so they might add more show times, but we haven't gotten an answer yet. We'll know. That's something else we'll know once the maps are available and the guide maps and really opening day.
Yeah. Now, Armelius asked, what's the best day to go for less busy queues?
That's really hard to say. Last year, it was incredibly dead for the first few weeks.
Yeah, but last year was very strange. Most of the time...
And this year's going to be stranger.
Yeah, but most of the time, like the last week of the event is the dead week. Yeah. Last year, that was the super busy week.
Strangely, we avoided going to Halloween Horror Nights on actual Halloween because we thought, it's going to be packed. It actually isn't that crazy.
Well, last year it was.
It's not as crazy as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It was just busier, but the first few weeks we were like, okay, where is everybody?
Yeah.
Is it because they thought last year was the final Bill and Ted? Is it because they're like, you want to see more Walking Dead? I don't know, but we've been there where like it's so tight. Basically, if you've ever been to any rock concert before, and in the very front of it, and there's not even a room to turn around. Like that was basically the streets. Like we would try to walk from one place to the other, and just walking through the streets was very difficult.
Yeah. I
haven't really seen that in a little while.
Yeah.
But it still can get very busy. That was just crazy. Oh, cool. Duchess will be there on Halloween. Sweet.
Cool. All right.
If you want to just drink beer and wander around, if you still have fun.
Yeah.
So, again, my Legoland trip. So, if you'd like to buy me something for my birthday, you can wear a shirt or click an ad. Or go to Amazon following my link. So, we are also going to something called the Bach Tower Gardens and the Pinewood Estates. So, that's something that we aren't really familiar with. But if you watched one of the Legoland videos, there's a little Lego version of the Bach Tower, which is actually called, I think, the Stinging Tower, so I don't know why it's called Bach Tower Gardens. I know it's BOK. It's the person who started it, that was his last name.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that, taking a tour of that as well, and posting that very soon. So I wanted to mention that. And also, remember, I have a Patreon account. Thank you for both Dutch's and Jay for being part of that. And it's still on the screen because I always forget. It's still there. So that's all the notes I have for this week.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and wrap up, I guess.
So, do you guys have any more questions? Because the chat room has been a lot more lively than it has been in a while, which is really helpful for us.
Yeah, and thank you guys.
Is this time? We wanted to start at 2 p.m., but that didn't really work. And it's usually on Wednesdays because that's when you're available, and I am sometimes. We want to try it on the weekend, but it's been really hard. So basically, obviously, we're looking forward to Halloween Horror Nights, even without Bill and Ted. Looking forward to going to check out another hotel.
Yeah, cool.
So, I thought it was an existing hotel that they took over, but they actually built it specifically for Legoland very recently, and also the Legoland Hotel is. Thank you, Duchess. The Legoland Hotel was actually brand new for Legoland as well. It looked like they refurbished it, but it was not. So that's cool.
Yeah. Amelia just asked, what's the weather like in October?
It's hard to say.
It's cool for Florida. If you're used to cold weather, it's going to be warm for you.
It can get cold sometimes at night, but then other years it doesn't. It's it's fall, so it's a little bit of summer, a little bit of winter. It's hard to say. Especially, it's still kind of the rainy season. So if there's a thunderstorm during the day, it'll cool down significantly. But if there isn't, it might not as much. But
it might rain in October. So
every time we went up to Halloween Horror Nights, it always rained.
Yeah. It's funny because like one night I was there as a guest and I had my rain jacket, never used the damn thing, and then another night I was like, all right, well I don't need the rain jacket, and then that's when it rains.
Wow, 3 different devices. Well, thank you for that. Sorry for draining all your batteries.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that is commitment. Thank you, Duchess.
Yeah. I had to leave a pub though. That's awful.
Yeah.
So thank you for your sacrifice.
Oh, and now she's going to go watch some Poltergeist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I want to find an old school CRT TV from like the 1980s for our Halloween Horror Nights set, but it wasn't that old, but I used to have an old TV like that, but they're kind of gone now, so that's gonna be interesting.
I'm sure they'll have one in the house.
Oh yeah, they will, but they're super heavy too. To find one to borrow for a little bit, that's gonna be tricky. So gonna have to work on that. So I guess that's about it. Wrapping up again tomorrow, Legoland, Bach Tower Gardens, and there's a bunch of other videos that I'm getting ready to release. I would like to go back. I'd like to go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, but that requires separate admission. So maybe next year.
Yeah.
And just to remind you that we are going to brick or treat for opening night at Legoland for the first time, so that's gonna be cool too. So,
and Duchess says she still has a Betamax. Well, that's rare.
Yeah, my mom does. I don't, but I borrowed it at one point for transferring videos. But the TV is something that'd be kind of hard. But all right, well, thanks for watching, and thank you for the happy birthdays, and we'll be back soon.
Yeah. All right, guys. Bye.